Hi, my name is Marley, and today I'm going to talk about non-defensive communication and why we should use it. So let's first start with defensive communication. Defensive communication can be defined as defensive behavior occurs when one person feels threatened or anticipates being threatened by a group of people. So the causes of that is one feels defensive or threatened by one person that is already being defensive or threatening the other person. Being attacked by someone else, verbally, non-verbally, abusively, as in physical. Also, there's other behavioral issues that could arise or cultural differences. A lot of times different races communicate differently, so that would cause a problem in why one person communicates differently and could possibly feel threatened. The characteristics of non-defensive communication of defensive communication would be elevated speech. So that's of yelling or speaking in a louder tone. Another characteristic would be control. That's when one person is trying to control the other person or control a situation. Another one would be strategy. So an example of that would be avoiding the topic. So someone is asking a question and they completely go the opposite way and talk about something completely different. Being neutral, so lack of interest. So kind of someone talking about a subject and having another person completely ignore them. Look at somewhere different, look at something in the distance, not even saying anything. Superiority would be another characteristic. So having status or power. A lot of times we see this with people that have more money and are speaking with someone that might be homeless. Another one would be certainty. So the conversation is aimed to win. The person needs to win the battle or the fight. That's kind of a characteristic of being defensive. So what is non-defensive communication? Non-defensive communication is the opposite. It is showing no threat or harm or the feeling of being threatened. Some characteristics of that is when someone is speaking, ask questions to understand. Another characteristic would be to make a statement, keep it open and subjective to understand what exactly they are saying and how you understand it. Another characteristic would be to predict the consequences. So we usually refer this to if-then statements. So why is this effective? It helps people to feel that they are being understood. So it's if I was speaking to someone and asking questions about what they're saying and saying, "Oh, this is how I understand it," it would show that we are understanding what they're saying and trying to understand it. Another thing is why it's effective is because it shows that we're interested in what they are saying. So an example of a defensive communication style would be pointing the blame at another party. So for instance, if you were in a fight with someone and you say you did this to me or you broke that, you're pointing the finger and pointing the blame. Non-defensive communication is more open conversation, saying, I feel a certain way when you do this, or I don't completely understand where you're coming from. It's more statements that show that you are trying to get to the bottom of it. So non-defensive communication shows individuals that they are heard and understood. It creates healthy and effective communication. That is why non-defensive communication should be used more than defensive communication. When we use defensive communication, it shows that we are not willing to help another person or completely understand where they are coming from. So, why we should use it is to create open barriers of communication an open conversation with each other so we don't have fighting, pretty much is what it comes down to. And it's not just in personal relationships, it's also in the workplace. So kind of to just overview everything, defensive communication is no. We don't want that to ever be used. It's kind of a way people use to completely shut out communication in general. And non-defensive communication is open and understanding and showing that people actually do care. So thank you.